Okay, so this episode's called Power Ponies, and that image just looks so stupid. So I guess this is going to be a superhero parody, because they got the ridiculous costumes on, and there's like a city backdrop. I don't know what's going to happen though. This looks like it could be funny though. Like the first few episodes of this season seemed like they were going to go somewhere, and then those last two I watched is just back to the nothingness. Like, there's much more of a plot in those episodes, like an actual story of things that happen. It's still really boring though, and just, like, I don't know. It's just not interesting to look at or hear or watch. It's just really dumb. And honestly, I feel like this show should be able to make me go from not caring about the characters at all to making me care about them in like one episode. Like, if it's actually well written. I mentioned Futurama a lot, but there's like episodes of that show where there's a character introduced and they're only on the screen for like 3 minutes, and it makes me care about that random extra character for that one episode more than I care about any of the characters in this show. And this is like the 60-something episode, maybe even 70th episode. Like, I just don't care about any of these characters because I don't have a reason to. They're also just like so boring. I don't know. Alright, time to watch this garbage. Okay, he's reading a comic book. Okay, so it's a parody of every superhero ever, or in this case, supervillain. Oh, they said there's something about fixing up the castle. So I guess that might be referencing, maybe the next episode will be about them fixing up the castle. Okay, typical boring intro. I already feel dead inside. Like, the more I watch this, the more baffled I get. Like, it's just more and more of the same, just garbage. I cannot see why anyone would like this. Oh, is this actually going to be the castle? And then maybe Spike's just going to ramble about the Power Ponies, and that's going to be like a B-plot? Like, they're just kind of dicking around in the castle. There's nothing interesting about this. It's not funny, emotional, building anything. I mean, I guess it's building up this comic book. Well, I guess maybe this is like a meta joke about how Spike's fourth wheel or whatever. Oh, is this like a mystery about the book or something? Wait, what? Oh, it's gonna be like they're gonna be teleported into the comic book. That's like the episode. And I guess they're all gonna get stuck in there.
Radiant!
Of course they are. Whatever, and I guess he's the comic relief, as he was saying. So I guess this is just gonna be a generic superhero story. I don't know. These kind of things only work when you already care about the original characters. I keep bringing up Futurama, but like, it's just such a good example for something I'm talking about. Like, there's episodes of that show where they just kind of do like every like baby shows parody. They do one where it's like a Scooby-Doo parody, where it's like a nature documentary parody. But those only work when you already care about the characters, and yeah. So it's like, this isn't doing anything for me. Okay, there's every villain ever just, this fight is hilarious. I will defeat you. Shut the fuck up. It's like, they did the same thing in Fairly OddParents, except it's a 10-minute segment, and it's really short and to the point. This is gonna be 20 minutes long! Oh my god. So it's just every superhero parody, like Fluttershy's the Hulk, Pinkie Pie's the Flash. Well, I think Applejack is supposed to be Batman. Or no, she's supposed to be Wonder Woman, because she had like the whip thingy. It looked like it was supposed to be a magic whip. I guess they're not just exactly the same characters, all of them. She's like that, what's his name, Dr. Octopus? I don't know, that Spider-Man villain. Okay, so that's that. I don't know what that thing's called, but that's from another superhero movie. This is just a bunch of superhero things. Oh, she just said Spiky Boo. Fuck. Oh, look, Spike is useless. Ugh. I mean, I guess there's a story? Like, that's the only thing I can say about this season so far, is each episode has had a story that it's following instead of just the same scene 20 times. Like, I don't know what it is exactly. I think it's just a ton of small things. They just somehow managed to make every moment so boring and uninteresting to me. What? There's the fight scene where there's gonna be a bunch of freeze frames of them being like, pow, wham, blam. Oh, they're not actually gonna do that? There's lots of points that I guess are supposed to be funny, but they just don't work for me. But then again, like, I'm thinking there's like a bunch of jokes in like Gravity Falls that have the same kind of just randomness, but then they feel like they actually work in that show, or at least they don't linger for very long when they don't land. Like, there's Mabel's making something with art, and then there's a joke where she says, "Why do you think I have this glue gun always attached to my arm?" And obviously she doesn't always have it attached to her arm, but the joke only lasts like a second or two, and but these jokes, like, they just go on for like 20 seconds seconds sometimes. Oh no, they're all gonna be frozen, and Spike has no powers, so he's not affected by it. So he's gonna have to save them. Oh no. Oh look, she's frozen too! And Spike's not gonna do anything, because he has no powers. Oh look, he's useless. You have no powers, but whatever, he'll save the day anyway. Through the power of friendship, probably. The most hilarious part about this, actually, is how much more detailed this world is than the Ponyville world. At least it feels more detailed. There's more like look at this room. There's so much more going on in that room than, like, even Twilight's library. I mean, even then, like, it's just a bunch of plain walls. Like, there's so little to look at. Okay, there's the villains explaining their evil plot. And I'm just thinking about Doofenshmirtz and how he's such a good parody of supervillains. Because of the way he says everything is, and just, it's so ridiculous and it just works. Why are they saying some pony? He's not a pony, he's a dragon. It makes no sense. Whatever. And there's the emotional thing. Yep, he's not like Humdrum. He comes through. Wow, wow. I'm so fucking sarcastic right now. What, is he just gonna unplug it and then that's gonna save the day? Here he goes, gonna save the day. Whoa, he saved the day. I never would have seen that coming. And now they defeat the villain. Oh, she wasn't mad the entire episode. Now she's gonna be mad at the end, and they're gonna defeat all the villains. And then after they defeat all the villains, she's gonna get angry and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I can just go back to being normal." It's just so predictable and boring and stupid. Come on. I mean, okay, I'll give it credit for this. At least this one's kind of creative, like giving the superpowers and weird shit that the characters are doing. This is a much more interesting idea for a world than the actual show. Oh my! Another Wilhelm scream! Another Wilhelm scream! Whatever. Oh, she's gonna kill a bug, and that's what's gonna make her mad. Oh no, she's angry now. Oh, here comes the Hulk. Okay, no reaction to that. It's just not gonna do anything. I feel so dead inside right now. Oh my god. There's the lesson. Woohoo.
To be a super friend.
Oh my fuck. Oh my god. Wait, what? The book just disappeared. I don't care at all. Fuck this episode. Fuck this show. Fuck this world. Ugh, this episode is just, I guess, a parody, kind of every superhero thing ever. It's just, look at me, I'm the evil villain, I'm gonna take over the city with my ridiculous invention, or machine that's gonna doomsday device, that's what they called it. Okay, so the plot is simple enough. It's just, Spike's reading this comic book that turns out to be this magic comic book that all the characters get sucked into, like, and they literally go inside the comic book, and then they're living as the superheroes in the comic book. There's this villain that's trying to destroy the city, and then they stop the villain from destroying the city. It's every superhero story ever, with no original ideas added in. I mean, pretty much all the superheroes are also just exact copies. Like, Fluttershy was basically just the Hulk, Pinkie Pie was just the Flash, I guess Applejack was kind of like Batman, but like a horse version of Batman. And then the idea is that Spike is useless because he doesn't have powers in the comic book, but then he's not useless, or he thinks he's useless, but then he realizes he's not useless because he can still do stuff with the power of friendship. And an actual line from this, I'm not even kidding, is you don't need superpowers to be a super friend. That's the kind of thing some, like, guidance counselor tells a kindergartner. Like, come on. Oh, this was so dumb. Ugh. Like, it's just, there's no clever jokes about, like, superhero things or funny parodies. There's no, like, like Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents. That's such a ridiculous concept where he's got a giant chin and he beats up people with his chin. That's hilarious. Or like Deadpool, where he's just an anti-hero and he just makes fun of every superhero ever. You know, those do things creatively with it. But this is just, oh look, they're that superhero. I recognize that superhero. Oh look, that's the evil villain. That's familiar. It's just so bare bones and lazy. The sad part is, despite how lazy this is, it's still infinitely more creative than the actual show. Because there's like action and like weird animations and things that happen. Whereas the show is mostly the characters walking around and talking, like the actual show. Like, this was terrible, but it's still way better than the actual show. I guess one thing is that they were like cleaning up the castle, and like the whole initial plot point was that they were cleaning up the castle and they didn't need Spike to help the same castle they were exploring in the episode a few episodes back. So it's like there's some level of like, okay, they're trying to establish a world, where there's ongoing things that are happening. It's just so boring, so painfully boring. Just oh my gosh. Like at this point, I don't even know why I hate this so much. I just cannot stand it. It's so bad. I give this episode 3 out of 10. It had some kind of interesting animations, but then there's so much boring and unoriginal shit that just drags it down. Fuck.